Alright, if you have been a long-term viewer of this channel, but also of my main channel, you know that I like or have been using the Samsung Fold 5 for many years. I mean, they just released the Fold 8. So this is a, air quotes, very old phone, and this always has been my MVP. I love this phone. This is such a capable phone that I can use not only for the stuff that you used to use a phone, so calling, although I feel like many people don't really use this to call anymore a phone, but for direct messaging, social media, which I try to limit as much as possible, but also obviously for entertainment. And for me as a freelancer, it's also a great work tool when I am at the office or on the road and I need to answer an email that might be a little bit elaborate. Then having a bigger screen when folding it up, reading, for example, NDAs, storyboards, or short lists I edit advertising. With that bigger screen, it is very helpful. But obviously as well, when you're traveling, having this for entertainment, to watch movies, to read an ebook, this bigger form factor is amazing. And you've probably already seen I put a little bit of a stand here so I can kind of prop it up like so. But I also use a pen to jot down notes. I know in the newer versions of the Fold, this is not possible anymore, which personally to me is another big argument to get either the Fold 5 or Fold 6 refurbished, because A, you can get them very cheap or comparatively cheap, and they still have the pen functionality. So maybe check out my long-term review about the Fold 5 as well, now that the Fold series in general is all about the YouTube sphere and everyone is kind of talking about the Fold 8, and I'm kind of now suggesting this would be the perfect time to get an old device, specifically refurbished. This one I also got used, so I'm a huge advocate of getting older generation devices. So, but this is not about the Fold specifically, because as I just said, I like to work on this. Sometimes, although in the open version, the bigger keyboard is obviously great. And now I'm going on vacation to Bangkok. And yes, although the keyboard, as I just said, is great, sometimes you do want to utilize a mechanical, or not a mechanical, a physical keyboard. As you see here, I love my mechanical keyboards. This is the knock-free split keyboard into which I recently put gator and silent switches. Love this keyboard. And I previously had this travel keyboard to utilize. Let me zoom out a little bit. I noticed I might need a little bit more space. Utilize this to type when I was on vacation, but more importantly, if you don't have like a stand on your phone, you can utilize this to prop up your phone like so. Open this up and have it like this and then type away, which is amazing. This keyboard is cool. It has a couple of trade-offs that I will get into when I get to the other one due to its size, but for vacation, for quick work, quickly typing, it's great. However, this was lacking a mouse. So whenever I was typing, I always had to go like so and maybe click something, which is doable, but in some cases it's not as comfortable. So I was looking for a similar sized travel keyboard that I can take with me. Again, I'm going on vacation. I will not bring a computer besides my phone, the Fold 5, and my ROG Xbox Ally, which I will use for gaming. I don't want to use it for work, but potentially it might be easier to be on a Windows computer to do stuff. But even then, I'm missing a mouse. So I was looking for an alternative. And fortunately, I found basically the same one, and I will link this in the description below as an affiliate link. With that, you won't pay more, but you will support the channel with a small kickback of that sale. However, keep in mind, this is for now not a proper review. I tested this for about 2 weeks, but I will do my final verdict when I get back from my vacation. So as you can see here, it has basically the same keyboard layout, basically the same size. However, when you fold it down, it's a little bit thicker. So you see this is like that, and in direct comparison, see that it is thicker. Why is that? Let's see. This one actually has all of the abilities, propping up your phone, and here at the bottom there is a touchpad. So, and this touchpad is actually connected to this keyboard via ribbon cable. So you don't need to fear that you have to connect two Bluetooth devices. You actually only have to connect one Bluetooth device, prop up your phone like so, connected via Bluetooth, and then you have, let me just zoom in so you can see the keys a little bit better. So not only has it the same layout, but, and some of the trade-offs that I get to in just a second, but this also has these really cool color designs. It's not for everyone. I personally like that there are some orange accent. So listen to this maybe. Let me just take the mic. So that was the typing test. As you can hear, this is a proper physical keyboard with actually really good button presses, and I would dare to say the noise, considering the size, is actually pretty good. But now to the trade-offs. As I've just said, this is a tiny keyboard. This is a travel keyboard, yet I would say the typing is good. However, if you are used to, I mean, I'm used to 65% keyboard, so I do know some of the trade-offs, but function row, you need to push the FN button to get to the function row, because you will have here the number pad, obviously, or the number row. To get to FNs or media keys, you need to push the function and then get there, which I personally don't mind. If you are used to German layouts, then you know we have S, Ös, Üs, so the so-called umlaut vocals. Those you will only get the Ö for some reason, but the other ones you need to reach with the FN keys, which for some people is annoying. Personally, I don't mind that much, but yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind. The enter button is also a little bit small. I don't like it too much. Could be slightly bigger, but I understand why they need to do that. Furthermore, the escape key is not here, but you need FN. Escape I do need actually fairly often, so I kind of wish this would have been an escape key, and this accent grave, which is French for this thingy, I think, or this degree symbol, I don't need it that often. This could have been an FN key, or these two buttons, and then have the escape key there. Personally, I would think that would have been a much better choice from my personal perspective, because escape you do need more often. But other than that, it is a full-fledged keyboard in a very compact form factor. Now, to the trackpad. The trackpad is, let me zoom out a little bit again. This is huge. This is a huge trackpad. You have plenty of space. You can use this to for clicking. You can kind of type, but you have two physical buttons. However, I'm not sure if this is an isolated issue with mine or in general. The left button switches between being very sensitive to non-sensitive. I noticed that it actually, if you push here, push it without having the click, it sometimes still registers that as a click. So you have sometimes mismatched button presses with the left button. Again, I'm not sure if this is a general thing or just my device. Because I'm leaving soon, I was not able to replace this. So I'm just going to deal with it and not kind of switch it out for a different version. So I'm just going to deal with it. But mine has this issue. What I also noticed is the palm rejection is okay-ish. It's not perfect, so when you are here and kind of typing, your palm is here. If you, for example, lift your palm slightly and you only touch with a small area, it sometimes thinks or misinterprets this small area of your palm because you lift it up a little bit. It doesn't recognize it as a palm. So sometimes it will move the cursor. What you can do, and this is actually really cool, which I want to get into a little bit of habit, pushing FN and the escape key here, up here, does, what is it called? Deactivates or locks the trackpad at the bottom so you don't accidentally push or move the cursor while you're typing. So that might be a little bit annoying, but that is why I'm kind of reserving my final verdict to the review and call this quick look first impressions for now, because I'm not sure if on long term this would annoy me a little bit more. But other than that, I feel like this is a perfect, really good solution if you have a Samsung Fold. I mean, this would be great for any phone actually, if you are on the go, or an iPad, for example. I feel like with the phone, the form factor is a little bit small and it's not that comfortable to kind of work on it, but it's still doable and it's probably better than the on-screen keyboard. So you can utilize the whole screen real estate, type, take notes, journal, answer emails. So for that, I want that because again, I won't have a computer with me and I'm a freelancer. Sometimes I get work emails anyways. And as a freelancer, from my personal perspective, you have to be basically reachable 24/7, even if you're on vacation. Even if it's just to kind of, let's negotiate a potential job after I'm back at home. So having a physical keyboard to answer emails, but again, also to journal and stuff like that, to me at least, is great. And having it in such a small form factor that you can fold away like so, this is amazing. Look at this. This is barely bigger than my phone. And I would argue this is barely bigger than an iPhone Max. It's been a while that I held an iPhone Max, but I feel like the Pro Max has the same width and maybe it's just about yay high, I would say. So as you can see from my very rough estimations, I would say this is only slightly bigger than an iPhone, but to fold, see that? It's slightly bigger. And this fits easily into my backpack and I can just bring it with me when traveling. Battery life, I cannot confirm on this one yet, but on this older version, which obviously probably has the same battery, but not a touchscreen, I was easily getting through my 2 weeks vacation without having to charge it. Let's see how long the battery will hold up on this, but again, I would probably only use it in specific scenarios. This has a very weird name. It was like Doho-eek or something. Again, I will link it below if this is of interest to you, especially if you're a Fold user. Check it out. Maybe you like it as well. It wasn't that expensive. It was like 30 euros or something. Bought it on Amazon. And yeah, I am looking forward to use this, test this, and give you my final verdict after I'm back from Bangkok. So, do you carry a travel keyboard when you're traveling, or maybe only going to a coffee shop? Maybe you actually use only your phone for a lot of work and then you bring a small little keyboard just to be able to work at a coffee shop on your phone. If you do so, let me know. And if you have questions, comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button and please maybe check out my long-term review about the Fold 5 up here. YouTube thinks I like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.